Welcome Chayalim from around the world. We have gathered for a global Farbrengen to celebrate the very special day of Yud Shvat, the day of the Istalkus of the Frierdiker Rebbe, and most importantly to us, the day our Rebbe became Rebbe. Let's start with a favorite niggin of the Frierdiker Rebbe. Chayalim, sing along. Chayalim, today we're going to Farbreng about what is a Rebbe. The Rebbe is unsere Tate. He is our ruchniistic father. And you know Chayalim because you have brothers and sisters, and I'm sure you've all seen that every young baby has a very deep and natural connection with their parents. Yes?
Whenever my baby brother starts crying, as soon as my mother or father pick him up, he stops crying. How does a baby have such a deep and natural connection to their parents?
Good question. Since we come from our parents, our body naturally knows that our parents brought us into this world, gave us life, and they will take care of us. Yes?
Is that why we are naturally drawn to our mother and father?
Yes, well said. Chayalim, do you know who our ruchniistic father is?
The Rebbe.
Exactly. Every Yid has a deep and natural connection to the Rebbe because he is our spiritual father.
What makes the Rebbe our ruchniistic father?
Great question. Because our neshama comes from the Rebbe's neshama. You see, Chayalim, the Rebbe has a very special neshama. It's called a neshama klolis, a neshama that includes in it all the neshamas of every Yid.
Does that mean that our neshama is part of the Rebbe's neshama?
Yes.
So just like our body feels like its life comes from our parents, our neshama feels like its life comes from the Rebbe.
Very well said.
And that's why every Yid has a very deep and natural connection to the Rebbe.
Excellent. You Chayalim really get it. This is why a Rebbe is called a Nasi. Does anyone know what a Nasi stands for?
Nitzot Shel Yaakov Avinu.
Exactly. The word Nasi stands for Nitzot Shel Yaakov Avinu. The Nasi's neshama is a spark of Yaakov Avinu's neshama. And just like Yaakov Avinu was the father of all 12 Shvatim, of all the Bnei Yisrael, and they all came from him, the same is true with the Rebbe. Our Nasi has a neshama klalis that includes in it all the neshamas of Klal Yisrael. Now, let's listen to the Rebbe and hear how he explains this.
Und wie Rashi sagt in dem Shabbos, was in welchem bekommt wie der Mond frier, Hanossi hu hakeil, a Teres Emes sagt, dass der Nossi vereinzigt in sich, hakeil, alle Sachen, alle Jiden in der Punkt, klein bis Greis, was gefunden sich in sein Dor.
Chayalim, let's say L'chaim now and sing one of the Rebbe's nigunim. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech ha'olam beirei pri hagafen. L'chaim.
Hu Elokeinu, Hu Elokeinu.
Wow, that was beautiful. And now, Chayalim, another name for a Nasi is Rebbe. Does anyone here know what does the word Rebbe stand for?
Reish B'nai Yisrael.
Well done. The word Rebbe stands for Reish B'nai Yisrael, the head of the B'nai Yisrael.
What's so special about the head?
Great question. Let's take a look at this video to understand.
The brain is an extremely complex system that controls the vital functions of the body. The brain is divided into lobes that control different functions, including emotion, behavior, memory formation, and bodily functions. The spinal cord begins at the brainstem and continues down the spine. The spinal cord consists of nerves that carry messages between the brain and the rest of the body. The nerve cells or neurons transmit the messages to the body as electrical impulses.
Chayalim, as you just saw, all the other limbs would not be able to do anything, walk, talk, or even have life without the brain in the head. And the Rebbe is called the Reish B'nai Yisrael, the head of the Jewish people, because the body, the Jewish people, and everything in the world get their life from Hashem through the Rebbe. Let's listen to the Rebbe explaining this.
Bei jeder Inyan und jeder Dor darf sich haben an dem Inyan Kloli, was im Mechai an dem Dor, was das ist der Inyan von Roshechem bechol der wa der. Roshe Alfe Yisroel, wie der Rebbe tatscht das auf in Tanya, sie seine Bepchinas Reishu Mechin, zu dem der Shebe heim nimtzoyim, wo das sich in Kloles Schemas Bnei Yisroel noch bei Mei Meshe, I bishase rechnet es der Atem Nitzovim Hayem Kulchem, hebt an wie Meische rechnet in a Nefen mil Meilo Lemato, in der erste Sache, als dort die Jiden, was sie sein in Roshechem, was der Reiche der Mechaie Kol Haguf Kulei, und der von der Ruf seine sich mit Stalschul und mit Kabel, die alle Darge shel Yachre sehr Shiftechem, Ziknechem, bis Chete Bitzecho, Vesheyev Memecho.
Chayalim will say L'chaim again and sing another one of the Rebbe's Negunim. Chaim.
Tzoma lecho nafshi, koma lecho vesori, be'eretz Zion ve'yoyeh bebli moyi.
I've been thinking, why do we need a Rebbe? Isn't Hashem the creator of the world? Doesn't Hashem give us life?
What a tremendous question. Chayalim, we learned that everything in the world is created with Hashem's words. And it's those words that are keeping everything alive. If Hashem would not keep saying those words, then there'll be nothing. So if Hashem is creating everything, why does it need to go through the Rebbe? Why can't we get our life directly from Hashem? And Chayalim B'Hashkocha Pratis, the last 5-star general, Mendel Werber from Or Temimim of Buffalo, is also a shliach to Niagara Falls. And we got to go on a helicopter ride over Niagara Falls, and we had this very discussion. Let's see what happened.
It's so awesome to watch from up here. Do you know that there are 750,000 gallons of water falling down every second?
That's incredible, Mendel. And do you know that when the water comes crushing down with so much energy, it creates electricity for almost 4 million homes? Even our electricity in Crown Heights comes from here.
That's cool. But how do we get electricity from the energy in the water?
Great question. I can't plug my phone into Niagara Falls. To get electricity from the energy in the water, we need a special machine. Look, Mendel, over there. You see the power station? Over there, they have a huge machine. It's called a turbine. And that machine takes the energy out of the water and turns it into electricity. Chayalim, it was awesome to see the powerful energy in the falls. But can we plug our devices directly into the waterfalls?
No.
Exactly. We need that turbine machine that can take the energy out and give it to us in a way that we can plug into it. And the same is true with Hashem's energy. Everything is Hashem's energy. But in order for us to be able to get that energy from Hashem, it needs to first go through a spiritual turbine. The Reish B'nai Yisrael. From the Rebbe, Hashem's energy goes to everything in this world. To help us understand this, we have asked Rabbi Levi Bukit to share a story that he heard directly from the person who it happened with.
Chayalim. This story is a story I heard from a general in the Israeli army, and would like to share with you this story as he told it to me. During the Yom Kippur War, I was in charge of a battalion of 150 soldiers. During one of the battles, we were ambushed. It was a devastating blow. 32 soldiers lost their lives, and many others were injured. As a general, I felt responsible not just for the soldiers, but also for their families, their parents, their wives, their children, their siblings. I visited with the families, trying to ease their pain, but the grief was so deep. And the more I tried, the more the suffering and pain weighed on me. A few months after the war, the U.S. government requested a meeting in Washington with some high-ranking Knesset members and a select few generals, myself included. This was to be a highly classified, secretive meeting. A few days before we were meant to leave Israel, I received a surprise call. My good friend, Reb Shlomo Medanchik, a Chabadnik, he suggested that since I'm going to America, I should make a stopover in New York to visit the Rebbe and discuss with him my depression and personal pains and suffering. Till today, I do not know how my good friend Reb Shlomo knew about this highly secretive, classified meeting. I agreed to meet the Rebbe, and Reb Shlomo made all the arrangements with the Rebbe's office. After I finished my business in Washington, I broke away from the group and traveled to New York to Crown Heights, and was immediately ushered into the Rebbe's room. I spent an hour and a half with the Rebbe. I was truly amazed how the Rebbe was aware of the most innermost secrets of the army, things that only a few select high-ranking officers were privy to. At the end of the conversation, I got very personal with the Rebbe and spoke about my own internal issues that tormented me. I told the Rebbe about my battalion of 150 soldiers and how we lost 32 in one swift ambush, and about the many who were injured and are still recuperating in the hospital. The Rebbe listened carefully. The Rebbe strengthened me, encouraged me with words of compassion and kindness. Together, we cried throughout the entire meeting. The Rebbe constantly referred to the soldiers who died as Kedoshei Elyon, exalted holy neshamas. Then the Rebbe said something surprising. It wasn't 32 soldiers, but rather it was 34. I responded to the Rebbe that I know better since I deal with the soldiers and their families on a daily basis. With all due respect, I continued, it was 32 and not 34, as you say, Rebbe. The Rebbe did not flinch. With great pain and heartfelt words, he repeated once again that unfortunately, it is 34. To be honest, by the end of the meeting with the Rebbe, much of my pain and suffering was relieved. However, I could not understand why the Rebbe insisted about the number of soldiers when I, as a general living in Israel, would surely know better. When I returned to Israel, I was shocked to hear the sad news that 2 more soldiers who were in the hospital had succumbed to their wounds. I now realize that the Rebbe indeed was correct. The total number was 34 and not 32. A few months later, the same group of high-ranking officers and generals were once again summoned to Washington for a continuation of the previous meeting. This time, I did not wait for Reb Shlomo to call me. I immediately called him and requested that he arrange for a second meeting with the Rebbe. This time, I was very anxious to meet the Rebbe. Once again, following the meeting in Washington, I headed to New York for a scheduled yichidus with the Rebbe. The meeting continued where the last one had left off, with many new facts and updates of the Israeli army's internal affairs. Again, the Rebbe cried with me and showed me the greatest love and compassion. The Rebbe showered me with his blessings and prayers for a long and healthy life. As the yichidus was coming to a close, I asked the Rebbe the question which had been bothering me for a while. Rebbe, I said, I must apologize to you for my disagreement about the number of soldiers who died. Indeed, you are right. It wasn't 32 as I said, but rather 34 as you said. I then asked the Rebbe, but how? How, Rebbe, did you know this? The Rebbe began tapping on his desk with his index finger while saying the following: every neshama that enters this world and every neshama that passes on from this world passes through this very room. That is how I know.
Wow, thank you, Rabbi Bucket. This story really helps us understand how everything comes from Hashem's energy. But before it comes to us, it first goes through the Rebbe.
But does that mean that we can't exist without a Rebbe? Why? Because if all Hashem's energy goes through the Rebbe, then we need a Rebbe to get that energy.
That's correct. And that's why the Rebbe is called a Tzaddik Yesod Olam, the Tzaddik who is the foundation of the world. Because all of Hashem's energy that comes into this world goes through him. And when Mashiach comes, everyone will see that all of Hashem's life force comes through the Nasi Hadar, and everyone will be bottled there. Do you know who that's going to be?
Melech HaMashiach.
Very good.
If the Rebbe is giving us energy from Hashem, why do we have to do stuff to connect with the Rebbe?
Tremendous question. Chayolim, just like electricity, it comes all the way to our house, but to use it, we have to plug in. And so too also the Rebbe is giving us all the koyach, but we need to plug in. Wow, you Chayolim are truly plugging in to the Rebbe and through the Rebbe to Hashem. By doing your Messiah, marking your missions, rising in rank, learning Tanya Mishnayos Balpeh, saying Tilma Shabbos Mevarechim, learning Pirush HaMilis, and of course learning the 613 mitzvahs. You are changing the world. And now we conclude this incredible Farbrengen by each chayil giving a coin of 10 to tzedakah. And have in mind, Gedela tzedakah shemekareves es hagola. May we celebrate this year on Yud Shvat with our Rebbe in the Beis HaMikdash HaShlishi, because you are bringing the Shechina Lamata Ba'aretz, and it should be taken from Miyad Mamash now.